Hello, new location. My set isn't quite finalized yet, but I'm working on it. Hi there, my name is Adrian, and this is Rabona TV's weekend recap. Do we talk about every team in every league, as some people in the comments think? No, but we talk about a lot, considering. Hey man, new location like I said, but same sponsor, so thank you to OneFootball for making the weekend recap possible. OneFootball has the best damn app in the game for breaking news, the fastest, giving you updated scores, highlights, videos, articles, live match tickers, and so much more. Use the link in the description for a free download on iOS or Android. Hello, this is Germany now, with a big Bundesliga matchup going down this weekend. RB Leipzig, the leaders, up against Bayern Munich, the defending champions. A match that would benefit Dortmund if it ended in a draw, and would you believe it? It ended in a draw. 1-1 between these two, with Bayern scoring just 3 minutes in, thanks to, yes, Robert Lewandowski. What a non-surprise. Guy has scored 7 goals already, and we are just 4 matches in. That's a decent strike rate, if you ask me. Luka Hernandez was absolutely terrible for Bayern, losing possession just, 23 times. 23 times, dude. And on top of that, he gave up the penalty from which Emil Forsberg equalized. Very, very rough match for him. By the way, that draw was enough for Leipzig to remain in first on 10 points, but it's still so early, so who cares? Borussia Dortmund had a very difficult match, at least on paper, as they hosted Bayer Leverkusen and their former boss Peter Bosch. Leverkusen had moments during this match in which they looked very good and a threat to Dortmund, but they could not finish their chances. This was a typical counter-attacking performance from Dortmund, who had just 33% of the ball throughout the match, yet still won 4-0. They're economical, bro. 7 shots on target, 4 goals. A brace from Royce, a goal from Alcacer, of course, because he can't stop scoring, 5 in 4 matches. Would have been more impressive if I hadn't just told you that Lewandowski had hit 7 in 4 already, right? Dortmund's sworn nemesis, Schalke, destroyed the newly promoted Paderborn 5-1. That's 2 wins on the trot for Schalke. But here's a surprise for you. SC Freiburg are sitting on 9 points, on the same amount as Dortmund, after they went over to Hoffenheim's yard and gave them a good 3-0 thumping. They're looking decent. Mind you, they haven't played the best teams, but they've beaten the teams in front of them, so you can't fault them for that, right? Okay, England. Manchester City versus Norwich. The results of the weekend, really, though Chelsea took a shot at the title. It's funny. On Friday, I released a video titled How to Beat Manchester City, and I made sure to tag Norwich in it on Twitter. Happy to see they took the advice of Mr. Rafa Benitez, and it in fact worked. Fark and Norwich pulled off an incredible 3-2 win at Carrow Road against the defending champions. As expected, Teemu Pukki's fingerprints were all over this match, scoring and assisting and providing a headache throughout. Like Benitez said in the video I made on how to counter City, if you can break through that first wave of City's press, and then you have a striker with some speed like Pukki who can exploit the room behind City's high line, you'll have a chance, which is exactly what they did with their second goal. Oh yeah, the first one, it was just a perfectly executed set piece from a corner. And third, Pukki put away himself after a massive mistake from Otamendi. Again, something Rafa covered in the How to Beat Manchester City video, giving them a taste of their own medicine and pressing extremely high and forcing a mistake out of their defenders. Well, defender in this case, as Otamendi made a huge mess. But you have to say, and this isn't anything to take away from Norwich at all, but the lack of Aymeric Laporte in the back line makes City look fairly ordinary back there. Otamendi, for me, always seems like he has some sort of mistake in him, and it's just a matter of focusing on him and pressuring him enough to make that mistake come to the surface. Now, when Otamendi is sitting next to Stones, I sometimes feel like Stones gets a bad rap when Otamendi's not the perfect partner. So, City scored a couple themselves, but 3-2 was the final. So far this season, Teemu Pukki has 6 goals and 2 assists in just 5 matches, absolutely proving me wrong in regards to keeping his form from last season in the big leagues. And Buendia is killing it as well. 4 assists, just 1 behind Kevin De Bruyne in the assist standings. All this talk of Rafa so far, well, Liverpool hosted his former team Newcastle and had an easy time with them, despite Newcastle taking an early lead in just the 7th minute. As again, the right side of Liverpool's defense is the weaker side with Alexander-Arnold there, but it's a worthy compromise having him on the pitch still with what he provides going forward. But yeah, Willems undressed him and smashed it into the top corner. But thankfully for Liverpool, Sadio Mane is in disgusting form in a good way, scoring a first half brace to turn the scoreline around. He's now scored 23 in his last 29 Premier League matches. Great setup from Robertson for the first, and Firmino set up for the second after coming on for Divock Origi just minutes before. Finally, Mo Salah added a third. Incredible pass for Firmino there. 3-1. Manchester United hosted Leicester, which looked like a major banana skin for United, and if De Gea wasn't up for it in regards to Maddison's first half opportunity, it could well have been. Chilwell had a decent opportunity as well, but ultimately, a Marcus Rashford penalty in the 8th minute was just enough for United. Not the most thrilling game, not a return to form for them, but a win that they desperately needed. Leicester didn't look their best, but they provided a good few issues for United. Even match in the end, I'd say. The penalty, the difference at 1-0. No conclusions to really draw from this. Spurs smashed 4 past Crystal Palace with Son Heung-min providing a nice little brace. One of my predictions for the season was that this was his year, where he definitely overtakes Harry Kane as Spurs' most important player. Again, no conclusions yet, but he's putting in a good shift so far. Oh, and I'll have some sort of player bio on Son Heung-min or Heung-min Son for you this week. First order of business, figure out which way you say his name, because everyone says it differently. But despite the comfortable scoreline, Hugo Lloris again was made to work, throwing down 6 saves, which is making me call into question the Spurs defense this year. It feels like there could be some major problems, but yeah. 4 goals, a first half blitz was enough for them to win 4-0. Wolves, wow. They got spanked at Molineux after celebrating 130 years at the stadium, and what a way to ring in 130. But I mean, it wasn't a massive surprise as Wolves are having a tough time readjusting to the Prem. A bit of a sophomore slump going on here. Maybe a Europa League distraction or something, who knows. But you know what I do know? The pride of Calgary, Alberta, Fikayo Tomori scored an absolute banger to get this match started. Too bad he's gonna rep England though. What a hit. And he was at the heart of the second goal as well, driving forward, dishing to Mason Mount, and eventually Abrams scored yet again. Nice to see him succeeding after his tough start at Chelsea, man. You'd love to see it. He got a hat trick on the day. Actually, he scored 4. But one was just in the wrong goal. But man, he's looking lethal. His third goal especially just showed his killer instincts in the box. And Feisty shared this Optajo stat with me. Tammy is the 3rd player in Prem history to score 2+ goals in 3 consecutive appearances for players aged 21 and under. 5-2 Chelsea, the final. Bournemouth entertained Everton and the Cherries came out on top 3-1. Everton are the weirdest team, so inconsistent. Just when you think they're picking up a head of steam, they put in a performance like that. Mind you, a massive credit to Bournemouth, and Everton were a bit unlucky at times, but still. Everton are weird, dude. Not as weird as Arsenal, though, who were absolutely shocking against bottom of the table Watford, who just sacked their manager. After going 2-0 up, they completely disappeared in the second half. The midfield didn't exist. Watford could bypass that with ease. And with the Chuckle brothers at the heart of Arsenal's defense, that's the Socrates and David Luiz, that 2-0 lead died in a hurry and could have easily been a 3-2 loss if Doucouré had his shooting boots on. Socrates and David Luiz embarrassing, Emery with seemingly 0 tactical acumen, and 2-2 was the final. Watford outshot Arsenal 31-7, man. What the f***? That's embarrassing, honestly. And yeah, that's about all I've got for the Premier League. Hey, welcome to Spain, man. Real Madrid looked good going forward against Levante on Saturday, but again, that defense, ugh. Anyways, Karim Benzema's strong start to the season continues as he notched a brace, taking his tally up to 4 goals so far. Casemiro scored the other of Real's 3 goals on the day, but in the second half, that defense started to wane as they had a bit of a scary end to the match. Borja Mayoral scored Levante's first. Funny, isn't it? And Gonzalo Melero scored the second. And man, did they ever come close to equalizing in the closing moments of the match. Madrid and defending, it's going to be an epic saga all season long. Oh, almost forgot. Big shout out to James Rodriguez, who looked great in the Madrid midfield alongside Cruz and Casemiro. Definitely the strongest part of Madrid's squad at the moment, despite having just 3 midfielders available for this match. So a 3-2 win for Madrid on that night. The other Madrid team, Atletico, they had some problems getting it up this weekend away to Real Sociedad, but their biggest problems were in defense, where Sociedad could have had, 3 or 4 goals, to be honest with you. Terrible day at the office for pretty much the entire Atletico team. The only dude that looked up for it was Koke. Diego and João Felix looked pretty bad up front. The defense looked like it was there for the taking. And Martin Odegaard and Nacho Monreal provided the 2 goals for Sociedad. How are those for some names for goal scorers, eh? Odegaard, secret agent Odegaard from Real Madrid, and Monreal, legend. Osasuna legend, no? Villarreal are looking kinda nice in La Liga. First win of the season there, but they're second in scoring. And they smacked Leganes 3-0 away with Gerard Moreno scoring a brace. So that's 5 goals for him already this season. The leader in La Liga. So Valencia sacked Marcelino last week, which I don't love that decision really, but it sort of follows the theme of the mismanagement that's going on at Valencia. And they sacked him ahead of their match away to Barcelona, a team he orchestrated a victory over just a few months ago in the Copa del Rey final. Well, it didn't go so great for Valencia, as in the first 7 minutes they were already 2-0 down thanks to the dynamic duo of Ansu Fati and Frankie de Jong, each scoring and assisting each other. Fati is really catching the eyes of the world right now, as he has become the youngest Barcelona scorer, youngest scorer at Camp Nou, and the youngest player to score and assist in a La Liga match. Who needs Messi? Am I right? That was sarcasm. Calm down. But anyway, Suarez scored a brace coming off the bench to do so, and Barcelona won 5-2. Not a great homecoming for old Silasson, picking the ball out of the back of your net 5 times. Sucks. Now, Sevilla have been slamming it in La Liga, going undefeated so far, and winning 3 of their 4 matches, including this past Sunday against Deportivo Alavés, just a 1-0 there with a goal from Jordan in the first half, but enough to take them to the top of the table after 4 match days. Now, don't get too excited, because on one hand, Sevilla started strongly like this last season, then plummeted in the standings. Then again, they basically bought an entirely new team this summer, so it's hard to get a read on them. Italia time. And Maurizio Sarri was on the bench for the first time in the Serie A season for Juventus' trip away to Fiorentina. Pretty forgettable trip for them, to be honest, as they didn't really get going at all in the match, really. Ribéry had a couple of close chances for Fiorentina. Remember, he went to Fiorentina. And Szczesny had to be on it back there, as the De Ligt and Bonucci experience still hasn't quite found its shape yet. Fiorentina dominate this one. Juve never got into gear, really. Honestly, they remind me of Juve of last season for the most part. Never looked very dangerous, didn't really have any notable opportunities. Most of those notable opportunities actually fell to Fiorentina through Chiesa and Ribéry, etc. 0-0 the final. Juventus will be happy with that point, I think, based on their performance. Inter Milan continued their perfect start to the season as they largely dominated Udinese at the San Siro. I mean, they were already against it, but when Rodrigo de Paul slapped Candreva and got a red card, it was over for them. Inter continued to dominate, and the shortest man on the pitch, that's no hyperbole, it's a fact, Stefano Sensi scored a fantastic diving header in off the crossbar from a Godin cross. That was Godin's first start, by the way, for Inter, and that was the eventual winner. Inter really should have had more, including Alexis Sanchez getting absolutely robbed towards the end of the game. So, 3 wins from 3 for Conte, and only 1 goal conceded in those 3 matches. Good stuff from them. They've scored 7, by the way, just in case you were curious. Also good stuff from Atalanta as they got a dramatic win away to Genoa after Muriel had put them ahead in the 64th minute from the penalty spot. A 91st minute penalty brought Genoa level, but that guy Zappato struck again in the 95th minute to get the winner for Atalanta, 2-1. They have some Champions League coming up this week against Dinamo Zagreb. That's a good way to enter the Champions League match day. Roma found themselves 4-0 up on Sassuolo after just 33 minutes. Madness, including a debut goal from Henrik Mkhitaryan and a beauty from Justin Kluivert. The real star, though, Lorenzo Pellegrini, who had a hat-trick of assists on the night. Beautiful goal from Berardi in the second half. Great free kick to try to spark a fight back, but despite getting one more, it ended 4-2. Napoli got a nice win over Sampdoria at home without their boy Insigne. The Lozano and Dries Mertens partnership didn't look that incredible, to be honest, but Dries Mertens scored a brace, meaning he scored 4 goals in 5 appearances for both club and country. Having him back to some sort of form that resembles the one that he had in 2016-17 season would be a welcome surprise for Napoli fans. Maybe surprise is the wrong word, since he scores, around 16 to 20 goals per season, but still, you get me. AC Milan went away to Hellas Verona, and I gotta say, if there was ever a team that was laborious to watch, that would be AC Milan. I'm sorry to say that, by the way. Despite being a man up from the 21st minute on, they looked clueless in the attack and only got their breakthrough after over an hour thanks to a penalty. Mind you, Calabria was unlucky to hit the upright, but then still, Verona went the other way and hit the upright as well. So I don't know what it is about Milan. They put me to sleep, dude. But they won. 1-0. I mean, look at my guy, Matt Santangelo on Twitter, and he'll talk up a storm about how they aren't getting service to Piontek. And he's right. And finally, bonus league. Yes, we'll put the Portuguese league on the back burner just for a moment, even though it was another exciting weekend with last-minute winners and Famalicão, the future champs, continuing to win matches, etc. But fine, some people are asking for something else. This time, however, we'll go with the Swedish Allsvenskan, as they are in the final couple of months of the season and they have a great race going on at the top. The current leaders, AIK, won against Häcken, just barely escaping with a 2-1 win despite getting dominated by the hosts. Häcken aren't too far out of the title race themselves, actually. They're just 6 points behind AIK, so this was a 6-pointer that Häcken couldn't afford to lose. Well, I mean, still a couple of months to go. They can afford to lose it, but Andreas Ali will be annoyed about how much they dominated and still lost. Could just be temporary leaders though, as they have played one more match than Djurgården, who are just 2 points behind them at the moment. Malmo took on Norrköping, and thanks to a dominant spell around the halfway point of the match, they found a winner thanks to Soren Reeks. His 6th of the season, and undoubtedly one of the most important, as it ensured they're just 2 points behind AIK, whom they actually play on the penultimate match day. Major title implications in that match, I'm sure. And Hammarby smashed Göteborg 6-2. 6 goals, 6 different scores for Hammarby, though the best name of them all had to be Tankovic. Absolute Chad of a name, Tankovic. And tank of a player. Chad of a player. Or tank, whatever. As he's the leading scorer in the Allsvenskan with 13 goals and the joint leader for the assists with 7. Pretty impressive. Tankovic. What's wrong with my mouth now? So, with 8 matches remaining, AIK are on 49, while Malmo, and they yet to play this round, Djurgården, are on 47. Hammarby, not far off on 44, and Häcken on 43. Okay, kids. That will do it for this edition of the Weekend Recap. We're easing back into things, you know? It's hard doing it from a different time zone. The humidity is different. My mouth works differently, you know? So thanks so much for watching. Don't do a Gwendouzi. I'm Adrian. I love you. Take care.